to work. He has the right to work. He has the right to protection of the law. He has the right to every other aspect that human beings does. By virtue of that sexual orientation, that choice of being a part of a lifestyle, there is no accommodation within the Constitution for that. There is none. And to seek to intimidate the church, man, that fellow has he has lost his marbles.
Yeah.
He has gone off the deep end, taken a plunge, so to speak. Because here it is now that he has now taken unto himself an authority that is parallel to that of God, to actually want to discipline the church.
I believe, Arthur, that the subject should have not been braced because the Chief Justice is sitting there, who should have made his decision in July. We're looking at July, August, September is about to be finished now. So I could not help but wonder if this is creating some kind of landing pad so that a decision which has not been made can be made. It concerned me just that the issue at all would be braced. When the Prime Minister began talking about a cord that, and I will bring up the word specifically, or discord, man, I said maybe it was going to be the fact that the cabinet is crumbling or that SIF is crumbling, or I did not know that it was going to be the church that would take the lick.
Well,
but
this is the thing.
I probably should have known because he was looking for Pastor Crawford at the beginning of the speech.
Right. And the man has exposed his hand, Louis. This is not an outside agenda that's being influenced or outside forces influencing him. This is something that he has in his heart, that he himself has subscribed to without telling the Belizean populace before he was elected that, hey man, I have homosexual leanings and I have certain affinity to this homosexual people. So he has now taken everybody in Belize on a ride, taking us to this point now, without first giving us warning, to say, well, all right, Belizeans, you vote for me, this is where we're going to go. He never told that. The mandate that he got was never in relation to that, so he blatantly lied. And obviously, on Independence Day, he exposed that this is something that he has a fundamental affinity, a fundamental loyalty to. Why does he have it? We don't know. Is he a purveyor of the lifestyle? I don't know. But it does beg the question. Take care.
Thank you very much, Arthur. I just need to make one fast correction because it appears that I may have said Mark Chang, but it's Eric Chang, please. And it says, this person says that the mayor said at the opening of the battlefield park that Chang was still in Taiwan. So that's a developing story. Carla, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Pastor.
Don Hector, buenos dias.
I heard Puro just now, and he brought something very important that every Belizean should know what it is, presenting a judgment by the Supreme Court. In other words, what may have been said concerning this Unibam decision that has not been given yet reminds me of a historical fact that happened in 1957. Two members were tried in the being tried in the Supreme Court for burning Mr. Lee Richardson's car. But the governor went ahead before a judgment was given, and he expressed his opinion as to those people that are burning cars. Listen to this, burning cars. You know what was the result? So Harrison Courtney went up to the judge, Your Honor, I am suggesting to you that an order be given now to arrest His Excellency the Governor for contempt of court. This is a matter that many people do not know that it happened in Belize, because while a case is being tried or a judgment pending, no one, including His Excellency the Governor, that was all-powerful, should not comment who has the right and who is wrong. As we see right now, for example, what was said yesterday about the churches having their duty to guard morality, but, listen to that, but the state has had the power to condone, to protect rights that actually have limitations. The Constitution, people must know, states very clearly the rights and fundamentals of people are the following. But nobody is reading this, provided it does not infringe upon the rights of others. Homosexuality is one of those that infringe greatly upon the moral rights upon our Constitution.
Right.
That gives us that mandate that we abide by the supremacy of God.
Thank you.
And God has set His rules, how we are to govern ourselves, and therefore nobody has the right to infringe those rights, which is a violation of the Constitution. Thank you very much, Pastor Wade.
Thank you very much. And, thank you very much for that reminder, because when it comes to Section 53 of the Criminal Code of Belize, every single time it has been used, it's when one person has been infringing upon another person's rights. Matters 80% of the time the law is used is an adult with a child, with a boy, a man with a boy. And the other 20% is when the person said, my gosh, look at what you have done to me, I will go to the police. So, but let me finish here. It says, recently, however, a most unsettling phenomenon has arisen. A version of the culture wars has come to our country, and it is souring the harmony. My gosh. So this thing that he is going to talk about is souring the harmony and disrupting the rhythm of Belizean life. So somebody is got to be blamed for, somebody is souring the harmony and disrupting the rhythm of Belizean life. And somebody is, he said, a golden knot that ties us all together is in danger of coming loose. This is the preface or introduction to the comments. Somebody is souring the harmony and disrupting the rhythm of Belizean life. And the golden knot that ties us all together is in danger of coming loose. I know the phones are ringing, but let us, once again, some people only listen to the comment one time, so I want to ask my technician to please play the clip so that the nation can again hear it. But before we do that, there is a clip where he introduces the clergy. Can we play the clergy clip first? Please, I want to play that first.
My Lord, the Bishop of the Anglican Diocese, the Very Reverend Philip Wright, and it gives me a special pleasure to welcome as well Mrs. Wright. The Auxiliary Bishop of the Roman Catholic Church, Bishop Clancy. Reverend Papalut, the Superintendent of the Methodist Belize Honduras District, Major Leandro, the Regional Commander of the Salvation Army. I don't see the President of the Evangelical Association of Churches, Pastor Eugene Crawford, a particular friend of mine, but I reach out to him nevertheless.
All right, so essentially I play that so that you could see that, but I also play it so that you could see that as the Prime Minister is talking, there is a camera that is pinpointing the different people. That is very key, because as you listen to the Prime Minister's speech, it is called a script, so that your person who is switching your camera and your camera people are getting instructions to who to watch when the Prime Minister says a certain word. So when the Prime Minister says certain things, the camera go and bap, bap, bap. So the first thing we will watch and listen to is, as the Prime Minister is speak, who is being shown on the cameras. Okay, so that's what I want you to listen to now in the next segment, and I want you to listen to his words, because this is the comment that people are saying, what the Prime Minister say, the cuss way out, the praise way, what is he doing? Let us listen to the clip, but watch the cameras as well. Let's go. Let's play that.
It always struck me that it takes an incredible degree of insensitivity, an intolerable level of tone deafness, not to recognize that Independence Day is not a time for recriminations. Therefore, what I say next is spoken not in anger or even in sorrow, but merely by way of exhortation. The diversity that we have hymned for so long must not now prove to be an empty trope, so much PR fluff. It must pass this latest test. In particular, we cannot afford for government and the churches to be at odds. The filigreed chain that links the two is a proud part of the national ornamentation, and it cannot be allowed to break. Government will therefore fully respect the right of the churches to propagate their understanding of the morality or immorality, as the case may be, of homosexuality. But what government cannot do is to shirk its duty to ensure that all citizens, without exception, enjoy the full protection of the law. After all, the Belize Constitution that affirms the supremacy of God also affirms fundamental rights and the dignity of the individual human being. That same Constitution further declares that all persons are equal before the law and entitled to non-discrimination, to freedom from interference with their privacy, and to freedom from unlawful attacks on their honor and reputation. There is, I submit, no logical inconsistency between these different tenets of our Constitution, and government, the churches, and the Belizean people must find a way to uphold all the principles of our foundation document.
All right, thank you very much. So that gives you a point so that you could not only hear, but you could also see who he's going to, the cameras are going to at the particular point in time. Very important. I've now taken a part of that script and we have placed it on the board for you to be able to now not only hear what was said, but to actually see the wording of what was said. In the Prime Minister's speech, he said that government will therefore fully respect the right of the churches to propagate their understanding of the morality or immorality of homosexuality. What struck me, first of all, my personal opinion, is that for the first time, the church is being used in the same breath and sentence when you are discussing human rights and discrimination and the rule of law, as if government has to protect something that the churches want to violate. That's a scenario. And I said it in 2011, I said it a long time ago, that the day is going to come when the church will be pitted against the issue of human rights. And it's not so much the church, because I don't speak for the church, but I speak on behalf of people who, after sitting down in church, you go home and you want to put into practice what you learn at church. This is not about church and church leaders. This is about people who listen and want to put into practice what they learn in church, and their freedom to build their business and their reputation and to conduct their life, be it in the public service or as a teacher, the way the church say you should behave. This is what this is about. And it's very important to understand that for the first time we have a speech that when the Prime Minister is talking about, when the Prime Minister was talking about the Mayor of Belize City, he called that a miracle. The miracle that is Mayor Bradley. And then when he talks about the church, he is dealing with the issue of human rights and fundamental freedoms. Carla, good morning. Good morning.
When the Constitution is under guard, there is supposedly to be a group of people that will represent God, the churches, the moral fiber of the country, and their representatives for it. If the Prime Minister makes an oath to the nation saying that he will do all manner of good, no matter what race, creed, color, and so forth, so help me God. When he violates it, shouldn't that body that represents God stand up? I think it should. That is what is happening now. But he refuses to accept. So we can clearly see that he will not respect the representatives of God, and therefore should not belong to the place where he is to uphold our Constitution.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. You see, so, my goodness, I mean, a golden cord is about to be severed, or he wants to ensure that a golden cord is not severed. And then there is this discord and strife. Man, who brought this about? I cannot recall for the life of me before Unibam decided to sue the state and all of us. I don't recall a cultural war on homosexuality in this country. So that's not the church. Man, when we look and we found the HFLE manual, where did we find it? In the school. Who put it there? The same dratted government. Who bring this issue and put it in a gender policy that is now disrupting the discord and golden tide that put this nation together if it's not this government? Who is parading Unibam and Orozco to OAS and to these health things and all these types? Who is in a nation that has so long prided itself in human dignity and diversity? Who? It's not the church. Man, this message is not for the church. This message was supposed to be for a political mandate. Because this but that you see here, and I make sure that today it is a big but. Whenever you have the word but centralized between this statement and this statement, it ties the two together. So the issue of he's talking about, in fact, first of all, it doesn't, thank you, Prime Minister, that this government will respect the right of the churches to propagate. But you know, if, as I said, the church is 2,000 years old, we don't need anybody to respect our right to propagate. We've been propagating for 2,000 years, and God willing, if Jesus not come back, we're going to propagate for another 2. Whether or not the right is respected or not. This is not something that is given to us. This is something that God tells me we have to do. Even if it kill we, persecute we, chop off we head, it doesn't matter.